Now, another thing about the towers, it's on record that the towers were full of asbestos and a financial liability. It was getting to the point where the towers were no longer attracting people. They were getting old, they were getting like kind of rusty, and it was known that there was a lot of asbestos building. They had to get like an asbestos team to go in there and clean up asbestos like year after year to maintain it, and that was costing them a fortune to do that.
That could be another reason why they've took it down.
Yeah,
Blowing it up.
I believe that is the reason, because the towers were a financial liability.
And what happens with liability?
You got to get rid of them.
There you go, and it ruins people's lives.
Yeah, you got to get rid of the financial liability. Now, the owner of them buildings, Larry Silverstein, right, he's not gonna turn around to people and say, oh, these towers are not good anymore, you're gonna have to lose your job and move out of the tower, to how many other people were working there. He wasn't gonna do that, was he?
How many people were working there, bro? How many?
Thousands upon thousands.
There you go.
He now would have to turn around and tell them you've lost your job.
Redundancy.
But is he going to do that?
No, he's not.
So what did he have to do?
Blow the place up.
Yep.
Make it look as if... Yeah.
It's the biggest insurance scam trick in the book. What do people do in insurance scams on properties? They purposefully destroy the property.
To get the money back.
Boom.
There you go. When all them thousands of people are dead now and the families are upset, crying, yeah, this guy there, yeah, horrible guy, is making millions.
Larry Silverstein, yeah, had an insurance policy on all them towers that in the event of a terrorist attack, he would be paid out 4.5 billion in insurance. And that's what he got for them towers. You see?
Money in the wrong person's hands can...
Evil. That's evil.
4.5 billion.
All those people had to die just because this guy wanted his insurance, because the towers were no longer up to scratch. How evil is that?
Very evil.
He had to sacrifice so many innocent lives just for that. Just for his payout, his greed. This is why greed is one of the biggest sins in the Bible. That's a massive example right there. Larry Silverstein. Another thing about that day as well, there was a third building that dropped. I don't know if you... Do you remember about the third building that dropped? World Trade Center 7. You remember that one?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
There was a building that dropped for no reason. It was like, you had the Twin Towers here, and World Trade Center 7 was there.
Yeah.
And I think it dropped in the evening. It was around about 5 o'clock our time. It dropped for no reason. That was also a Larry Silverstein owned building. In there, apparently, in that building, there was a lot of documents. I can't remember what the documents were, but they were like incriminating documents, like fraudulent documents. There's research out there that says a couple of days before 9/11, there was a special team that went into World Trade Center 7. They went into this special basement kind of safe in there and they burned everything. I don't know whether it was a day before or 2 days. I can't quite remember. But it was either 2 days or 1 day before 9/11. There was a specialist team in there burning everything. Also, there's a documentary where Larry Silverstein let it slip, where he said there's too much loss of life when the tragedy was happening. He's saying he spoke to his workers and said, his construction guys that worked on the tower, and said, oh, I gotta pull the tower, I gotta pull it. There's too much loss of life. What does pull it mean? Controlled demolition. He wasn't actually meant to say, oh, I told him to pull it, but it's there. You can look it up for yourself on the internet for those who are listening. He said pull it, as in demolish it. That's why that World Trade Center 7 came down for no reason. Even though they've come out with this bull story now that it was office furnishings on fire that brought it down.
No, not make no
A
sense.
steel building,
Still building.
office furnishings on fire. Makes absolutely no sense. So, if you believe the official story, then I don't know what to say. The official story makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. They're basically treating you like a donkey, like an idiot, making you feel like you're some preschooler. with that,
Yeah, the thing.
with that story that they've come up with, they think you're a preschooler. Let's go back to the second tower anyway, because there's footage of when the second plane hit the South Tower. In all the videos, when this plane hits the tower, the plane melts inside the building and then blows up the steel building. How can the plane go through and just melt into the building and blow up?
It's supposed to bounce off.
Bounce off.
It's supposed to bounce off.
Bounce off and drop in the street, boom.
That's it, yeah.
But this plane is melting into the building.
But only way they could do was explosion, then plane in, then melt.
Distraction.
Distraction. Big
The planes were a distraction. The magician's trick.
Well, it's all slowly coming out now anyway.
And you see, that event right there was the catalyst now for what we're living in now, where people are living in fear. When that event happened on 9/11, that was officially the end of the 90s generation. The 90s generation that was full of happy people going about their business, playing ball in the park, friends actually meeting up with each other and talking and stuff instead of over a computer. It was a different time. It was a nice, colourful time, but when that happened, that took the colour out of the world. And then the guys behind this know this as well. Because from that happened now, that was officially the beginning of settling in fear into people.
Yep.
Because what happened to the airports now after that happened? The airports were never the same. Did you go on holiday before 9/11? Did you ever go on a holiday as a kid before 9/11?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
How easy was it in the airports? You never used to get hassled, did you?
No, you could walk
Put your
straight through.
baggage on, straight through.
through.
Everyone's happy, la-di-da, enjoy your holiday. After 9/11 now, this is where they got all the metal detectors out.
Everything.
Oh, you can't, oh, I'm sorry, you can't come here, you can't take that, you can't take this. What's that? Early form of control. You can't do this, you can't take this abroad, you can't take that abroad. That was the seed planter of what is now becoming control. When you look back at 9/11, for those who have got some form of common sense here, that should teach you that not everything you see on the TV or what these people are officially telling you is the official story.
There you go, because what's internet full of? Bull and lies.
Sorcery, fakery. Oh yeah, another thing as well. Who was in charge of building them so-called towers, the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers? A very powerful family.
The Rockefellers.
It was the Rockefellers that built those towers. Now, I'm going to blow people's mind here now. You know how the powers that be love their symbols? You know, it really turns them on. They've got to leave their tags on things. When something happens, they must leave their tag. Right, 9/11 now. There's 3 ways you can look at the numbers 9/11. Right, it's going to really blow your mind.
9/11, 11911.
911's 1. Yeah.
It's got the one in my mind, yeah.
Second one is, the second one is the 11. What does the 11 represent? What does the 2 11s look like? They look like the towers, don't they?
Oh, yes.
So you
towers.
got 911, which ironically, there were a lot of them called that day.
Yeah. No,
There was a lot of them called that day, ironically. And the 11 is the two towers.
2 towers.
9/11. The third one now, this is a mind complexing one now, right? So, if you put the date together now, so you put the 9th of September, you put it in the date format, so it will be the month 9, the day 11, the year 01, right? If you add all the ones together, what number do you get?
3.
Right, this is the real kicker now. Take 3 away from 9. What do you get?
6.
What's 6 a digit of?
The devil.
The mark of the beast, 666.
Devil.
You see?
I know, it all makes sense. When you sit there and think about it
Do
properly.
you see how these guys operate? This is how you know this was fabricated by the powers that be. They always leave their tag. When something like this happens, their tag is always there. It's not far from the tragedy. So they've basically thrown it in your face right there. So 9/11 is significant for the 911 service that was called that day. There was so many of them. It's also significant for the two towers, the 11, and it's also significant for the number 6, the first digit of the mark of the beast, 666. This is what they do. They throw it right in your face, so it seems normal.
But
You're
really,
programmed to think, oh, this isn't
not
nothing.
normal.
Facts.
Oh, what a life we live in, eh?
And the same powers that be that orchestrated that are the same powers that be that are orchestrating this current epidemic that we're in.
Yep.
The coronavirus, which is only going to get worse. When winter comes, the ugly head of the powers that be are really going to show. They're really going to rear their ugly head.
It's proper.